The difference between us is that I can feel pain.
Sounds like a real boogeyman. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
There's someone else in the hotel with us. There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms.
It's got a death curse.
This isn't science. It's more like black magic.
Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
All right. Hello, my not old friends, and welcome to a very special edition of Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm your host, Travis Wormwood, and with me, as always, is your host, Dawson Trailer. On Pumpkin Hill Radio, we talk all things esoteric, paranormal, and mysterious, sometimes true crime, sometimes all high strangeness, just anything that we can find that takes a bit of digging. You know, we try to find the weirdest stuff we can find and bring it to you and research it together.
Hell yeah.
We don't claim to be experts, but we're getting there. You know,
Yeah.
We're getting close to our 10,000 hours, I'm pretty sure. So once we get there, we are on video.
Yeah.
So if you're listening anywhere, just check the video on YouTube. We're at the beach right now.
Yeah, we got new chairs.
Yeah.
Really comfortable.
So we're just going to be relaxing all episode. If that comes
Super
out in the
chill.
voice, that's fine. If we seem more chill,
Really chill right
that's
now.
just going to be part of it. Tell your friends about us. Tell your friends to rate us yourselves. And I don't know, tell like your school teachers, tell all your executive bosses about us. Go as high up in the companies you can and let them know about us so they can spread the word as well. This is Pumpkin Hill Radio. By listening, you've joined a cult, the Cult of the Star Mother. You can join further levels by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/Pumpkin Hill Radio.
You're going to want to join.
Yeah.
You're going to want to join.
What do we got on there, Doss?
We got a lot.
We got a lot. Got some diaries.
Yeah.
We have some exclusive Dawson's Diaries. We have some exclusive news reports there. We have exclusive monthly episodes. This month's episode releasing very soon will be on the Spear of Destiny, Hitler's a spear that Hitler found used once or had on him for a while. A spear that poked Jesus when he was on the cross. So you know, a strong lineage. There's a lot of ups and downs with that thing. Very interesting. We can track it through history. Check the Patreon for that. Yeah, that's going to be a fun little episode
Blessed.
here. Yeah, and that's basically it. Thanks to all our Patreons, all our paying Patreons. We really appreciate the support. You kind of help keep the lights on here. It really helps. And everybody that signs up for free, what's up? You'll still get a shout out at the top of the episode if you sign up. So
you might as well just join the Patreon, though.
You might as well.
What the hell are you doing?
Doss, we have a patron. We have a new patron.
Oh, nice.
Victoria Trailer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that came up. That came
Nice.
up, and it made me very happy.
Nice. My mom's in on it.
Yeah. Good.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Hell
I
yeah.
got to get my mom in on it too.
Yeah, dude. What the hell?
Well, let's jump into it. I will say that this episode is going to be nuts. We're talking spontaneous human combustion today, and like all its wrappings and every part of it. We're going to piggyback a little bit off of last week's episode with the how to walk through walls patent, where they kind of dealt in chakras and things of this nature. We're going to dig into all that. But first, we got a little horror this week. Dots, do you have anything this week? I mean, we recorded pretty recently, I suppose. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm on to the second book. Last time we talked, I was like just getting done with the first one. I'm on to the second one now.
whoa,
And the first one, he went to Mars. This one, he's getting called to go to Venus. And it's like from like it's being told from like his like assistant basically at this point. And he's like, he had to like go put him in a coffin and like nail his coffin down, and it just like disappeared to like Venus apparently. And then like months and months later, he like comes back and he's like jacked. This dude's like in his 40s, kind of like round, soft, comes back just jacked.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, it's like they were so wrong about Venus. The astronomers were so wrong. They had no idea. And like, yeah, he's like, that's like as far as I am. Like, he's basically telling the story about how he just like got out and like went and took a shower and is like freaking out about all this shit before they can even ask questions. He's like, they got it all wrong. Venus is way different than they think. Like,
so you're telling me you read an entire sci-fi book and you're on to the sequel?
I'm on to the second one now.
That's
They're
great.
like not huge long books, but
Yeah, that's exciting.
it's like 20 chapters.
Nice. Yeah,
24
busting
chapters.
Busting through books over here.
Good.
That's awesome.
It's good. Good
Nice.
stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I guess my horror this week, I did get the like updated version of the Red Temple Oracle. Got like this nice. I've gone and wrapped it around this way.
Oh, nice.
I got the.
I just tied it.
I haven't. I got like a custom velvet pouch for it, has like these sigils and stuff on the pouch. It's kind of nice. And then the actual cards. I can't open it. But so, listeners, what I've done with the ties on this Velcro, on this little velvet bag that I got, I tied it around the wire that is for the microphone or whatever over here, and now I can't get it off. And that was some sort of like subconscious little anxiety thing I did while talking. Well, I've talked about him here before. I just wanted to show Dawson the like finish on him because we got this. It's like more of like a woven, like
nice.
But you'll see him later, I guess.
Yeah. We'll get that untied.
I promise they look great.
We'll figure that out.
Dawson, we got the I got the tube TV here turned on. Why don't you reach up and touch that? Why don't you feel that static? Yeah, when's the last time you felt the static off the TV
really
like
nice,
that?
Man.
All right, that was
we're gonna have to get that like right here.
I know it'd be nice to build out the
get, like,
talking about
Godzilla
building out
on
the
there.
studio. I would love to renovate this thing.
Yeah, it'd be
What
great
about
to just have some Godzilla right behind us.
Some sort of setup where like me and you are like more looking at each other.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's some
looking
shop
at
talk.
each other through the camera.
That's some shop talk. We'll figure out how that's all gonna be possible. Dawson, do we want to start the big show?
Let's just get into
I
it.
feel like we just got a lot to talk about here with the spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah, ever since you told me complete skeletal loss in minutes, I can't stop thinking about it.
Yes, complete skeletal loss in minutes is what we're going to be talking about
The
today.
imagery is seared into my mind.
Okay, let me just get a little flavor. The skull was the size of a teacup. The chair was reduced to springs. Her foot, still in its slippers, sat along in a pool of ash. But just inches away, the newspaper stack was untouched. This is how they found Mary Reeser in 1951.
Wait, so her slipper is still intact?
Yes.
What the fuck?
When investigators arrived at the small apartment in St. Petersburg, Florida, they weren't met with the chaos of a house on fire. There was no scorched walls, no fallen beams, no screaming neighbors, almost no damage to the interior of the house at all, really. On a single chair, melted down to its coils, was what was left of Mary.
What the hell?
So they were talking about fire that would leave an entire room intact. Some type of fire that
It doesn't spread.
Some type of fire that apparently would shrink a skull instead of shattering it. I guess like here's a gross thing, but when like a skull is in like a high heat situation, it'll basically burst. I mean, your like brain is boiling. And
Well,
it
it's like
pops.
if you throw like a glass bottle, a closed glass bottle with any like moisture in it.
So we're talking about something that would also just shrink the skull. I mean, we're talking about just like a magical curse right away. If I feel like I'm just hearing some like voodoo, some like classic TV voodoo magic. You know what I mean?
That's doesn't make sense.
Mary Reeser wasn't the first case. She wasn't the last. This is over decades, hundreds of years, over continents. That we'll talk about ancient reports of this stuff. It's one of the most bizarre things that I've really come across because there's just like no real way to determine what the hell's going on here. We're gonna go over
like the scientists like reporting this are like this isn't possible.
Yes,
This isn't explainable with like any science.
When multiple police
go to
reports,
magic.
Yeah, when multiple police reports that just like they just conclude spontaneous human combustion, like that's in the report.
When the dudes in lab coats are like, this doesn't make sense. I'm going to magic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to magic.
And case after
Voodoo
case.
curse.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like, well, yeah, they can't tell me anything. This is definitely some, and we're gonna get into all the eldritch abomination type things that could be happening here. You know what I mean? If you're just getting stared at by some demon from another dimension, and that's just enough to rip your fucking plasmic soul to smithereens.
You have enough like spiritual suppression. It just creates a little sun inside you, and you hit like nuclear. You go nuclear.
So this chick was just going back to Mary, and we're gonna like dig into her case more and like a lot of other cases in detail. But let's just like break down some basics.
Yeah, hell yeah.
A crematorium runs at about 1400 degrees Fahrenheit, and it takes about 2 to 3 hours for the bones to start to disintegrate.
Okay. It's good, interesting math.
Now now we'll talk about like Mary's case where they found her ashes. Bones were gone, right? Except for like 1 foot in a slipper for some reason, which we can even discuss like why that might be later. But while the rest of the house around it is largely intact, there's like somewhat of like fire damage right above and
like
beneath
smoke
her,
damage kind of stuff.
Well, okay. It's not smoke damage.
It's just like heat damage.
Well, dude, it's grosser. It's a
What?
It's a yellowy oil residue that is like
steam?
Is like kind of on the walls and stuff.
Human steam?
It's what happens to fat when it gets to this temperature.
Like if you're like
it starts
it's like when you like make fry you like fry some
reducing,
chicken in your kitchen and you get that little weird film on your oven.
Yes. So it's like, but for some reason the newspaper right next to her on the chair is fully intact.
Yeah.
Yet her whole body was destroyed and the room is just minimal damage, right?
You put a newspaper, a piece of paper, even a piece of wood too close to like a fire pit.
Yes.
There's gonna be sparks or something that starts it on fire.
So that's so first, just like to
the
like
fact
kinda,
that didn't spread either. Like something that hot would have spread. Like houses are like kindling.
Well, yeah, it's like when they come upon this scene, they're often saying things like the whole house should be gone right now. You know, like from what this looks like, right? It's like the surrounding environment completely untouched. Plastic light switches don't melt. The paper stacks don't ignite. Furniture doesn't have any heat damage. Maybe like a little bit of discoloration from just like it's the fat rendering, right? That's what it is. Because what it is, it's the quote unquote complete skeletal loss. It's like as if like your bones are the things that are like
like it started from the inside out.
And so to like kind of toss it into the deep end immediately to like talk about some theories before we dig into the cases. When we talked about last week the walking through walls patent, which had basically chakra points listed, but they were calling them like quantum energy vortexes, whatever. But they were kind of just like giving a military science to these ancient like spiritual technologies, like rotating your chakra points and different like
energy centers in the body and
different meditation and breathwork methods to do this, movement methods. And so to me, it always seems like reading these. I guess when we were talking about it, it feels like maybe this is possible by you just completely fucking up doing that. Like, okay, imagine you are like, you're truly trying to do this like walk through walls thing. We looked at the diagrams last week where it's essentially like rotating these points within your body, either clockwise or counterclockwise, which you would learn to do through like years of meditation and breath work. And you can see it possible by time and time again, like spiritual leaders and people kind of have these like powers. I mean, you look at like Jesus, he was definitely like rotating his like root chakra points so he could walk on that water and shit, basically. Just to, like,
even like these monks and stuff that like can change their body temperature.
And that's basically that's where like the exact
slow
like, piece
their
of
heartbeat and stuff.
Yes, it's this it'd be in that same like technique as like raising your body temperature. I believe it's the chakra point that's like in your torso part here, or like in your like upper torso.
Area.
You're so you'd be rotating that and so we talk about like monks. There's these videos of monks that are literally
like they're out in like the mountains in like the Himalayas in the snow, and they get like wet towels put on them, and like they have competitions of who can dry the towel the fastest just from their body heat.
Yeah,
and it's not like ours. Like it doesn't freeze. They just dry it because they get hot as hell.
Yeah. And there's even other
like steam
videos of them just like starting fires, like them holding their hands over like a little crumpled up newspaper and that just like igniting, which I like 100% believe, I guess.
That's awesome.
And so
I mean, there's video of it. It's like, okay, that's a magic trick, but it's like, well, you're doing something.
And some of those videos specifically are the one we did talk about that previously too, but it's like they continue to get taken down online. I know that the original monk that got video, it was for like a private recording thing, and he just did not want it to get released. And not to say that this monk is the one that's getting taken down, but I could see some authorities.
It's for our own safety too, I think. Like if you're a monk that knows how to do this, it's like I can't teach people how to do this because they're gonna accidentally burn their bones.
They're gonna So think about that. If you were untrained, and
I think you could do it accidentally.
That's what it is. It's not somebody. It's not like because some of these people are just like elderly folks. They're just getting through their day. Like I think they just hit the right circumstances.
Yeah, I think they're like their energy centers just start going too fast and they don't know how to like cool it down or slow it down, so they just and it's exponential as soon as it starts going. It's like a little nuclear reactor basically inside their body. Their atoms themselves just start splitting and vibrating so fast that it's become a little sun.
Yeah, right. You become this
That's
like
what it sounds like to me.
Well, we talk about like the plasmic soul, like it's like it seems like like even just like this like truly like this like plasmic entity that is you inside this like vessel. You know, maybe even that this thing that's like kind of like on a separate plane, but like still you're like living with it. Basically, your soul, like you got it like a little ghost driving you inside you at all times, right? It's like maybe maybe this thing is like. Yeah, just like heating up to like just like sun type levels and just burning out, and it's literally just it starts at like your bones and it just
the physical
cooks
body.
you so fast because some of these things happen in some of the reports are like minutes. It's insane. Like there's some. Well, we'll talk about the actual reports instead of me just whatever, but very interesting, right? Yeah, there's usually never like. There's no like also no electrical malfunction around the scene.
Yeah,
like, there's not like it's not like somebody's fucking TV exploded in front of them. Not like their radio short circuited.
I've heard like explanations like, oh, they were smoking a cigarette and they fell asleep and it like hit their fingers and it just lit them up. But it's like, man, I've like dropped like a cigarette on carpet, which is pretty flammable, and like it'll just burn out. I've also dropped cigarettes on me.
And you know what happens when you do that? You don't just like you'd react.
You wake up.
You'd wake up if you were like truly
like I've like almost fallen asleep with a cigarette, and you just wake up.
You're gonna wake up
like,
before the point where you are melted into oblivion. Like there's a point when you wake up from the pain before you are just gone. Yeah. You know, like and even as like an elderly person, I feel that. Yeah.
Not to bring it like too into like sci-fi, but this book I'm reading, the way they like talk about like this like I don't know, it's basically like the keeper of this like planet has this ability to unbody people is what they call it, and it creates this like the one guy that can speak the language is like explaining it how they explain it, but like the dudes that didn't know what was going on, that couldn't understand what they were like talking about, just saw it, and they're like, they have nuclear technology, they have a way to like hit remote nukes, small nukes, like controlled nukes, because it was like that bright of like a flash.
Sure.
And it's like, well, because, sci-fi fiction, it all comes from, like, some reality, you know what I mean?
But it was
like,
just, like, some sort of, like, spiritual, magical
technique. But, yeah, it's like this, it's like, that's, like, the soul leaving the body is, like, this, like, flash.
Someone getting their fucking plasmic soul kicked out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, when it's, like, in a certain circumstances, it's just, like,
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, their, like, whole physical body, like, disappears. And it's, like, that could be, like, a similar thing that, like, this is, like, these people are, like, kind of, like, at the end of their life almost. They're about to just like ascend, and instead of like slowly dying and rotting, it's just like an instant, just like unbodied.
You just go, yeah.
The soul just bursts out, just burns its way out.
Yeah, like you just like, and maybe it's even has something to do with like an amount of like spiritual energy. Like,
yeah,
and I would say that could come from like anything. So maybe it's just even like the old ladies like just got back from Bible study that morning, just like had like some kind of realization, just like some sort of enlightenment, from whatever text.
Some of those like simple like old people, like they won't like preach to you about anything, but like just look the way they live their lives, the way they like interact with the world, the way they like see the world is like this. They're like enlightened beings without like being anything more than just like a simple person. They go to work, they go volunteer, they hang out, they don't do anything special, but it's like just enough where their vibrations like awesome. You know what I mean? Like these geezers just like. They've been doing that for like 80 years.
Are we saying that this is possibly a good thing that we're shooting for the annihilation?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's the worst thing. I just think maybe it's just something like
I do like that take where it's like you just hit.
They're just like hitting that like pure enlightenment, and their bodies are just disintegrating.
Right. It's like usually
they have no more of that.
Usually you kind of reach nirvana after a series of rotating lives, and like it's after your final death. But maybe you're hitting it before the final death, or like that becomes your, and then you're just getting
like
burned
they
up.
Just hit it, and they like sit down. And it's like all right, they just open up a little sun inside themselves.
That's cool. That's okay. Yeah. Right. So let's walk it back a little bit here. In a previous episode, we covered the declassified CIA and military documents that detailed the gateway process. This is a system of deep meditation and hemisync frequencies and focus energy movement. This is where practitioners could achieve astral projection, bilocation, and phase through matter. Right, that's what we talked about in the previous episode. This technique involves building up an intense charge of internal energy along the spine. Now, that's what we're talking about now. Like if someone attempted this or even accidentally triggered that, and that same energetic sequence like failed and to just fail that basically, and that would be where like instead of passing through like the wall, like your energy just coils back into itself really fast, right? And it's just like you just collapse, right? You just totally
like can't escape the aura.
Yeah.
Just stays in there and just becomes a reactor.
And so in yogic and esoteric systems, we have the solar plexus, right? This is where we get the Manupira chakra. That's the fire center.
Yeah.
Pira is like a fire word, right? That's what it controls digestion, personal power, and will.
Like your
right?
metabolism and stuff.
Tied to heat, transformation, and identity. It's kind of like, I feel like when you're doing that like chakra, like aura gathering, it's a lot of like gathering it in that center focal point, right? When overstimulated or improperly balanced, it can lead to burnout, rage, or internal overload. So what if it's like, what if the fire isn't, what if you can't release that burnout properly though? And it just like, it goes in this circuit like internally really fast, and you just basically, because some of these spontaneous human combustion victims were like either like in a trance or like a sleeping state. Or like extreme psychic distress. Cause there is theories that are just like psychic suicide. I heard of that, where you're literally just almost the opposite of the enlightened thing you just said, where you're literally just considering.
You're so done, and you're like, I'm done.
It's just self-immolation by thought alone,
which
is possible. That's essentially like Sith Lord tactics, right?
Yeah, you just remove yourself from life.
Yeah. But that was like one thing they were considering, especially like before, like 17 to 1800s. They were really like, when they're still really considering like witches and magic as like a thing. They're just like, this person just thought it so hard they fucking like deleted. Yeah,
well, that's like also like when like old couples, like one of them passes, the other one just dies from mourning within like a year.
Yeah,
they're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of you just like taking yourself down, like in like a peaceful way.
Anymore.
But it's not like even like a sad thing. You're just like,
I just don't have the will anymore, and my body's gonna turn off.
Like imagine it was that like thought process, but like just fueled by like some insane like energetic cycle and stuff.
Yeah, if you have that like high fire energy and then that happens,
you're like, just burn it out. Because really they just don't know what the hell this is coming from. There are some like it's
so bizarre.
Yeah, there really is just no conclusive like thought on like, 'cause like scientifically they have no spot for this really.
Yeah, because it's not something you can like. It's spontaneous. You can't like observe this happen.
You know what? It also
can't plan for it. Like,
it
just happens, and then you get like the aftermath, and you're like, "What the hell? What the hell happened?
Fuck was that?" Yeah.
What?
It almost in like a different way. It reminds me of like ball lightning, like how it's like it is within science, within the realm of science, and they like understand that it does happen, but they just have no idea what's happening with it.
Yeah, it's so hard to observe.
For some reason, we have these words for it, like Kugelblitz, but it is like a way more ancient term that just like, for some reason envelops this idea that they still were calling like a fringe science up until recently. But it's like this, which ball lightning is just like this, like I think it's just like a point of like extreme plasmic energy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what if that is essentially just what like
flows along?
What
like
if you just
current?
like are generating like that?
Might be.
Just like
plasmic soul.
You're hitting. Yeah, you just like. Kind of that
maybe
same
just
thing.
the ball lightning just comes and like hits you. Just comes and hits you.
Like if that's just where it happens to appear.
Yeah, just you're like because it's like the circumstances all like align, and you have like a certain like, magnetic like kinetic energy happening. You're gonna like magnetize and like be more like electrically like charged, so that like that ball lightning, if it's like around the area, will like gravitate towards you. Get magnetized towards you, and then it just hits you, and you.
I mean, that's what we thought. It's kind of how,
or you just create it yourself.
That's kind of how like plasma crystals form, right? When it's when dust passes through like a highly magnetized like portion of the atmosphere, and it just gets like a like magnetically and electrically charged in this way, where then it does kind of combine into larger and larger things. And that's even where we start talking about like sky jellyfish and the spheres being these things, which, Let's talk about. I got a couple cases here. Let's dig into Mary Reeser's case a little bit more. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So, ordinary morning in St. Petersburg. We have a woman named Pansy Carpenter, who is Mary Reeser's landlady. She comes to deliver a telegram to the 67-year-old widow's apartment. She notices the door handle was strangely warm to the touch. Upon entering, she was struck by unbearable heat and a horrifying scene. Mary Reeser was almost entirely gone. Only her left foot remained, still encased in a black satin slipper. The chair she'd been sitting on was reduced to springs and ash. Despite the intense destruction of Reese's body, the rest of the room showed only light scorching. A stack of newspaper nearby was untouched, and plastic light switches had the damage stopped abruptly outside a narrow radius, basically. Firefighters, police, and later the FBI investigated the scene. The temperatures required to cremate a human body, again, are around 14 to 1800 degrees, sustained over several hours in a crematorium. Yet this woman was reduced to almost entirely to ash, with no signs of prolonged fire. FBI labs found no trace of accelerants, though they speculated she may have fallen asleep while smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
However,
That's
this does not explain the limited damage to the room and the mysterious greasy soot found on surfaces, which is that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gross. Like, you touch it, and it's like that's just like her fat that like got reduced and turned into this like oily smoke.
Human grease.
Yeah. This is also, there's just still like, what the hell is this? Her skull was shrunk to the size of a teacup, something that forensic science could not and still does not explain. Again, normally skulls explode from heat due to expanding gases. The phenomenon of the shrunken skull was not just bizarre, it bordered on this impossible state. The final report listed the cause of death as unknown origin, but this becomes basically the first modern case of spontaneous human combustion. And again, that was back in 1951. Let's talk about another one.
Weird.
This is December 5th, 1966 now. Don Gosnell, a meter reader for a gas company, let himself into the home of a 92-year-old named Dr. Bentley, as he had done many times before. He left a note on the table, but something was wrong. The hallway was filled with a pungent, oily smoke. When he walked toward the bathroom, he noticed a hole in the floor and something resting on its edge. It was a lower leg, clad in a slipper and bathrobe fabric. Below the hole in the basement, a pile of ashes lay directly beneath. I'm going to throw some pictures up on the screen.
Yeah.
The picture behind me will be of Mary Reeser in the body, and then behind Dawson, I believe, is the...
So that's the walker.
So that's the walk. You can... Yes, we're just going to pause here for a second so y'all can see these images. That's just like That's just some police guys and like... that's just people like shoveling up ashes of a human on like a bathroom floor. And yeah, this is just... There's literally a walker, like everything's
Well, you
intact.
just fell through the hole.
Yes.
The walker's still like stuck up there though.
Yeah. Insane.
Bizarre.
Bentley's walker stood nearby undamaged, right? Dr. Bentley had been in poor health, needing assistance to walk. Yet somehow he had burned to near total destruction without disturbing his surroundings. A section of floor had collapsed, but the rest of the house was unharmed. No fire had spread. No flammable materials were found. Police and coroners ruled the death accidental, suggesting Bentley dropped his pipe and set his robe aflame. But the intensity and the precision of the burn, leaving no torso or arms and no signs of raging fire, remained unexplained.
Yeah, so that's not what it was.
The only damage occurred exactly where the body had been.
Yeah.
Investigators found a greasy film on the tub and floor. That's the signature that we find in other cases.
Mm-hmm.
And forensic scientists could not replicate such an isolated burn with common household materials.
Yeah.
So again, they're like trying scientifically to prove this stuff. You know, they're putting different...
Like, it had to have been this because it's the closest thing that could make sense, but it still is not what it was.
Mm-hmm. You want to talk about why like the feet might be unharmed? Do you think that's... It is interesting. I feel like, is it just because it's just like not... Is this literally the distance of it, like compared to like... Because fire burns upward, right? I guess like plasma, I'm not sure. I'm sure it burns on all sides, right? But if it's starting, especially in like that solar plexus area, like torso and arms and like head specifically, maybe...
I'm wondering if it's like a grounding thing too. Like you got your feet on the ground, so they're like grounded, but like up above you might not be.
Mm-hmm. Your body's like so... the top of you is like vibrating so high already, you're just like getting lifted up.
Yeah, and it just like... I don't know. That's the only like idea I could have, or like... Yeah, it's it just burns up.
Or maybe just like...
So...
Yeah, like it burns up, I guess by the time your feet would be to that state, like the top of you and like your internals where the chakra points are kind of like held spiritually, like those are already kind of disintegrated.
That energy point's already burnt out.
Yes,
like the fuel's gone.
Yeah, so it just doesn't reach it maybe.
Dampens out.
I could see that almost happening on the other end with like the walking through walls stuff where like...
Yeah.
You get like, I mean, it reminds me of then.
Feet get stuck.
Yeah, that's
in a
which
wall.
reminds me of the Philadelphia experiment where they're getting like
People
when
like
they
arms.
transfer their energy and move between realities, they come back and they're all meshed into the sides of the boat. It's like I can almost see that. How like is that almost what this is? But like they just like instead of going through something, they're just caught in this like plasmic burn, and like that's just not
They just get
that's just not a
scorched.
part of it. Like the feet are just not vibrating at the same level.
I
It's
can see
almost
that.
now let's fucking take even a bigger like swing. Like what about the also one case and so many high
Yeah.
strange alien cases where it seems that the creatures are either levitating or their feet
Mm-hmm.
are just like blurry because it seems like it's almost something in the peripheral that like doesn't
Yeah.
need to render or that like just doesn't come up. Is there any connection
just-
there? Am I just like
Well, I
throwing
also
this shit
think
way
like,
out
dude,
now?
when you lose circulation, you're gonna lose it in your toes and your fingers first.
Mhm.
So I think that like might have something to do with it. I don't know what, but you know what I mean. Like it's so far from like where your blood and your heart pumps that it's like that's like why they get your toes get cold before like your stomach, your legs.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like especially when you're that old, like they probably had barely any blood flowing through their legs and their feet. So there's not gonna be that like energy moving through it.
hmm
I don't know.
So do you think
Unless
also
maybe-
one is involved?
Well, I also think that's why like also like the feet don't render, or like don't like show up because whatever they're doing to like project themselves, like can only like project like the most solid parts of them. So maybe why his hand didn't show up either.
Mhm.
But the one like holding whatever wand it was or whatever like drill it was came up, but it was like the hand itself that was like holding that drill.
Yes, we're talking about our also
You know?
one case we've covered actually twice on the pod. Now we've mentioned it all the time. Just a very high strange case of a alien or some kind of creature from a different dimension coming
Yeah.
through, but when
Like-
seen, they just seem to not have some or like it. Yeah, again, like the peripheral, like the hands and the feet, they just seem to not be like loading into the
Yeah.
reality.
Well, it's like if your hand or your feet go numb, you don't feel them at all. Like it doesn't feel like they're there. And that might be like what we're seeing, what you're seeing with like also one type things where it's like you don't see it because it's just like there's not enough of that like blood flow energy.
Which
moving
is
through
which is like would hold some kind of maybe like
Yeah.
spiritual essence as well
Some-
within
some
it, right? That
energy,
would kind
yeah.
of give it an energetic push
doesn't
to
render
come
through,
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Dr. Bentley's death is one of the most cited examples in paranormal literature because it closely matches the hallmarks of SHC, which is rapid cremation, lack of external fires, this oily residue, and the survival of objects just inches away from the source. It truly is insane. I mean, I don't think anybody should try this, but imagine you're lighting a fire in your house. Try to burn something at 2,000, 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit and not catch anything else on fire.
Nah, I mean you get a hot pan up to like 500 degrees and it's like anything you throw in there is going to start burning.
On all these are cases, like neighbors report no noise. There's no like, not even weirder. There's not like a fire alarm that goes off necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what that means.
No
That seems-
scream. It's just so instant.
yes. Which again, if you're dropping your pipe and it like
We've
catches
all-
your
I
robe
don't
on
know.
fire, you're gonna be like, if you drop your pipe and it catches your robe on fire, even
You're
as
gonna-
like an elderly man, like you're still gonna
You're
like,
gonna
be like,
run.
oh fuck, and you're gonna try to
Move.
move and
Ah!
it's like that's gonna leave damage throughout the house. It's gonna leave like at least markings throughout the
Yeah.
house that you did this, and it's like
And like anyone, I mean, okay, maybe not everyone's seen these like videos and not like the dark web shit, but if you like seen someone get caught on fire, like it's not instant.
it's not instant.
They're
It's-
running around, they're freaking out, flailing.
but yeah, if you have like some
It's
clothes,
noisy.
if you have some clothes on you like these people did, you can see like that ends up burning a lot more. Because fire does burn like vertically, so sometimes there's not a lot of like horizontal damage. But with all the clothes and stuff, there would be something. There would be something.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
like it's like
that hot.
the amount.
There's gonna be embers or something that falls down.
like the markings. It looks like they got like beamed up. You know what I mean? It's like
You're gonna fall. Yeah,
it's like an instant like beam of light just right
Yeah.
to the target.
Well, that's like another theory I have too. Is like you've seen like the people who get like UFO visitations where like there's like they're like lawn. They like there's one video that these people got on like their like security cameras, and it was like awesome. It looked like a spotlight hit the side of their house and like their lawn, and like they went out the next day and like their siding was all burnt up. Their camera
I
got
have
burnt
seen- I
up,
did
and
see
then
that, yeah.
their like lawn, like all the grass was like dead and kind of like seared.
Well, that's such a classic thing with like UFO visitations, right?
Yeah.
It's like this like mark, right? Or like fairy circles kind of have that
Yeah.
same thing for like digging to all sides of the Fae and like strangeness. Because again, there is no conclusive whatever. So we are just sort of throwing a bunch of ideas out there that are all like
Anything,
insane as possible.
anything that like this brings to mind, I'm just gonna go with because
Like, what if
it's as rational as any other fucking idea.
What if you're like visited by like a group of fairies that hit you up, that put you in the circle, and you just get like brought to the other side that way?
Yeah,
Again, that basically
kind of
that,
thing, and that like
enlightenment,
soul
yeah.
transfer,
Yeah.
like unbodied.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
All right.
Cleansing by fire.
In September 1982, this is London, England. It's a quiet afternoon when 61-year-old Jenny Saffin sat in the kitchen of her family home in Edmonton, North London, excuse me.
Nice.
Her father, Don Carroll, was in the room with her. And what happened next is seared into Don's memory.
Oh shit.
He said, she just sat there, and all of a sudden, there were flames coming out of her mouth.
Oh, what the fuck? So this guy witnessed.
This is one of the very few times when it was witnessed.
Yo.
At one point, he said she was roaring like a dragon. Remember, I read you that quote
Yeah,
earlier off mic. But yeah, she just sat there, and all of a sudden, there was flames coming out of her mouth. Jenny had severe learning disabilities and was nonverbal. Interesting.
Yeah.
We always say maybe they're kind of more connected to these.
Well, there's that like the telepathy tapes where they like go to this other place and like talk to each other and like communicate that way, and they can like read minds. They have like some sort of like touched, gifted aspect to them.
She made no sound as the flames engulfed her. Don shouted for help, doused her with water, and called for emergency services. She was rushed to the hospital, badly burned but alive. So he stopped it.
The fuck?
He stopped it. Doctors were mystified. Her clothes were mostly unburned, and there was no signs of external ignition. Yet her face, hands, and chest had suffered extensive internal burns.
Those energy points.
She died days later from injuries. Yeah, literally.
Hands,
the solar plexus point, the
mouth,
the two hand
chest.
points. Yeah,
Those are
internal
all
burns.
the throat chakra. Those
So we hit her with the water, and it like stopped it, but it still just burnt her out too bad. Her clothes were like basically not damaged besides on the sleeves.
I wonder.
Insane. You think that she was just like hit a moment of high consciousness and just like exploded?
It's like it's time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right? Yeah. I mean, really, it's like
That'd be a cool.
it seems
I
like
mean,
it's like
morbid,
biblical,
but like,
right?
dude, how come no one's like made a movie about that? Even
Yeah.
like a short film. Like this is based on a true story.
It's like, to me, it's like
crazy.
biblical. Like it seems
Yeah.
like it's like a revelation. It's like a high level revelation where you just become an angel, basically.
Yeah.
Like it seems
The
in that.
fire, yeah.
Like I feel like you just become like holy fire for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Or on the other end, it's like some eldritch demon
Just
from the far
some
beyond,
curse
like
from the
sees
void.
It's like them looking at you. It's
Yeah.
like you read like some like Lovecraftian shit where it's like it's some of those like just seeing it like as madness.
Or yeah,
Imagine like the eye of the universe like staring at you directly. Maybe it just is too much, like
I wonder too if like these energy vortexes in your body, if they hit a certain vibration, if they open like a portal, and you open this portal and this like flame.
well, I think it does, right?
This flame comes through
in the
you.
walk through wall stuff. We're talking about how you like break through 3D space. It's like
Yeah.
maybe I think we talk about like Norse religions, 9 realms shit. Like maybe you can open up. Maybe there's multiple portals to multiple planes that you could like open up depending on where your chakra is rotating.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
just open up this fire pit, and fucking demon fucking comes and
Some
grabs
demon
you
just
out.
like literally like burns you from the inside out.
Like you just open up the portal to hell for real inside your chest, and it just burns you to smithereens. Well,
God, that's terrifying.
fire investigators found no evidence of accelerants or appliances that could have sparked such combustion. Don maintained until his death that he witnessed spontaneous flames emerge from her body. The coroner refused to list SHC as the case of death and said, recording it as burns of unknown origin. All right, buddy, that's the same thing.
You just start trying to say something different. You're trying to like take the fucking smart road. Like, oh, it's not that.
So this was
It's this. That means the same thing.
So this is a rare case because it was witnessed in real time, and the victim like
yeah. I mean, how do you just like ignore his like account of
Yeah.
like it was flames coming out of their body?
And again, she's like nonverbal and just never made a noise about it. It's like she just popped. Yeah, roaring like a dragon. And can you imagine just like you're just sitting there, all of a sudden my hands and mouth just fucking right? It's like you're dragonborn, right?
Yeah. I would immediately be like, that was demons,
Yeah.
right? It'd
Yeah.
be hard to see that as in like a holy light.
No, I'm trying
I'm
to
like definitely trying to, because it's otherwise it's really scary.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, man.
It does seem like the most demonic thing that could happen to you. It does seem
Yeah.
like a really
Were they being like exorcised of demons
is that like
by
a curse?
some other thing? I don't
Is
know.
that like a curse upon you? Like have you gotten that? It's like
I hope that doesn't happen to me.
all right.
If it does, dude, if I start burning like that, don't put me out. I don't want to die like 3 days later from injuries. Just let me
Yeah,
burn
let me
quick.
go. If I'm like
If I'm
transporting
breathing fire, just like, all right, stand by and just
summoning something
just
big.
watch it happen and maybe
Yeah.
try to get it on camera.
I'll try to get like the
Get it on camera for the pod.
yeah, try to put the salt circle around you quick, get it on camera.
yeah.
Contain the thing at least. Because I don't want to jump into me once you go. That's the
Nah,
problem,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I got a
It'll be
newer
fine. It'll
case
be fine.
here from
Hell yeah.
December 22nd, 2010 in Galway, Ireland. Again, you can see these are like all over. It doesn't seem to be like based on regional stuff. It's not like there's like some weird humidity that fucking burns
Or
you
like
alive.
dryness. Yeah.
Like there's not like any insane
It's not like a
conditional
natural gas leak in
Yeah.
this neighborhood or something.
right,
like-
yeah. It's not some insanely conditional thing that just seems to happen if you're in the right. It's like it just seems to. I think these people are just hitting all the right motions and just opening up that fucking
Like
portal.
the stars and planets align in a certain way wherever they're at in the world,
Yeah, man. Oh,
and their mood, everything.
don't get me started on the moon.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
We'll save that for the end.
Neighbors on Clairview Park in Galway saw smoke billowing from Michelle Ferretti's home early that morning. Firefighters arrived to find a grim and baffling scene. The 76-year-old's body was found incinerated in his living room. It's Michael, not Michelle. I never knew how to read those names.
It's easy.
The floor beneath him was scorched, and the ceiling above showed signs of heat damage, yet everything else, the furniture, the TV, the curtains, untouched. So it's just like the exact same scene that we're seeing.
Yeah.
It is
It's
weird.
like this like really contained fire
Yes.
that doesn't make sense at a heat that doesn't make sense for not to burn everything in a fucking 100-foot radius down.
Again, no signs of foul play. It's not like there's some bastard man coming up and burning you with a flamethrower. Because some of these cases, they're doing tests to be like, did somebody come in here with a flamethrower? Like, that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
They're like, did they get attacked by a flamethrower?
Do you hit with some napalm?
It's like, there's
No.
who of these like just old people living in some neighborhood in Ireland
Who needs
is
to
like,
go do that?
I don't think they have these kind of enemies.
No.
The kind of enemy that's going to bring a flamethrower to you is
No,
like,
it seems like they have enemies coming from their insides.
yeah, or like the great beyond.
Yeah,
like,
some void.
Yeah, like fucking.
So I wonder too, like if because we talk
Helheim.
about like the aura. There's like aura that surrounds us.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's like what's containing it.
Just
And
holding
I think it
in.
might like cut off at like the feet, like at your ankles.
maybe.
That's why the feet stay, but they still burn just because they're connected to it. But like
Sure. But this spiritual casing,
this like egg that's around people,
this
so like it can only burn, like the fire and the heat can only get outside a certain area.
so
and then
it's
once
like-
it's done, the remaining corpse like lets out that gas
Mhm.
and that like grease basically.
I'm thinking of a sausage with its
Yeah.
intestine casing.
Yeah,
And
That's
you bite
kinda what
into
we
it,
got.
get that snap.
yeah. We basically have these like sausages and some people's it's like getting in a microwave.
the guys do.
We're all we have the sausage casing around us spiritually.
Oh man.
And then you put a sausage in a microwave, and sometimes the cheese on the inside burns.
Ah,
the
cheese.
inside out.
I'm 100% a cheese filled
Oh yeah,
brat. But yeah,
jalapeno.
to put it in plain English, it is like
Cheddar
putting a
dog.
jalapeno cheddar brat
in the
into
microwave,
the microwave
and then it burns out inside out.
from the inside out. It
Yeah,
is like
the
it is like
cheese
a
burn.
microwave burn, isn't it? It almost
It
seems,
seems
like
like
that. Yeah,
that.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like which what microwave just like vibrates shit really fast, like it like
Yeah, it like speeds up the molecules
Yeah.
and like reverses them and shit.
So that is like what?
That's why I think like the aura, like this aura, like is that like encasing around it, and then like their energy centers like become this reactor almost, where it's like
you think that
it like bounces off the inside of the aura and just keeps.
You think this is a government weapon?
Dude, when you first brought this out to me, I was gonna be like, is this related to like DEWs? Direct energy weapons?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, dude. Like some kind of microwave
'Cause
blast.
you know what also is weird? A lot of these like fires that people claim like dudes started, some things burn and some things that should have burned don't burn.
Mm-hmm.
Like a house burns down, the grass doesn't. The grass is still living and thriving. Trees aren't burning. Cars are burning. Certain cars painted a certain color aren't burning.
Blue seems to.
Are these people wearing blue? Probably not.
No, that is an interesting little like side piece.
And there's
of that,
like
right.
There's these like laser like tests where they'll like line things up. So it'd be like, like there'll be like different like walls basically, and this laser will like shoot through it and burn the one thing.
And it like can go through.
It can
like
go
it's
through like
moving,
houses, like ceilings, walls, whatever.
You pick the distance.
They'll like
you
pop a
want it to, like-
balloon around like with like walls around it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you can get hit with that, and like I guess is that some kind of government weapon, like some kind of like secret
ET
like, weapon?
weapon?
Is an ET weapon? Yeah. Is it just like?
Is it like is that like they're like testing it? You know,
Mhm.
on these random people like, oh, they're old. No one's gonna really be that.
Yeah,
It's not
old,
gonna be
living
that
alone.
suspicious. Like,
And even if
burn
it
up
is
some old
suspicious,
people.
they seem to just list it anyway. They're just like,
yeah, we'll just get the guy in the sheriff's office or inside guy in the deputy.
Spontaneous human combustion is one of those things that it was like
When
fed
did it
to us
start?
as kids.
Yeah.
You hear this is like one of those very early.
No, I remember
paranormal
my
things that you
mom like
hear
laughing about it because
And
she was
I-
like, "What?"
And I feel like it just gets so like
It was like a joke.
yeah. Some of those ones you hear so early they get built up in your mind.
Pretty
as
sure there's
just-
like a Family Guy episode where they like joke about it.
sure. I'm sure.
Maybe it's Simpsons or something. But
I
like,
mean, they've
yeah,
probably all taken their turn at it by now, but
South Park for sure.
I don't know. It does just to like mention that again. Like it is one of those. It seems like one of those things that for some reason gets fed to you pretty early. But there's like a
Yeah.
couple of for some reason we get like Bigfoot early. We get like
Crop circles.
yeah. There's a couple like I guess quote unquote like,
Loch Ness monster.
they're not even all like level 1 ideas. You know, like we get like
Yeah.
Bigfoot and Loch Ness seem like pretty like.
The Earth is flat.
But it's like you get like you're throwing out SHC spontaneous human combustion as like a very like like you're just getting shown this and it kind of you kind of just told that I guess it. I don't know. I think it might be just one of those things that they tell you to like build you into not caring about like very high strangeness. It's
Well,
one.
it keeps you from like looking into it too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like any of those things that like is like a meme, that's like a joke meme.
Mm-hmm.
You look into it, like gnomes, all that stuff. You look into it, and it's like there's actually some like pretty credible stories.
There's so much layers of bullshit.
There's a lot
and
of
then it's like all
stories
a
that
sudden-
are very real,
yes. Yeah.
and it like, but it's just like covered as like a meme. It's like that Google bomb. You like look up spontaneous human combustion, and then you get like a South Park episode.
And
It's
that
like,
just
what-
seals the deal. Yeah.
And then you're like, well,
Yeah.
okay, oh, it's just a joke.
So there were no signs of foul play. There was no overturned furniture, no electrical faults, no accelerants in this Michael Faraday case, the 2010. Investigators ruled out a fireplace ember as the cause, right? Just any possible way that somebody would start on fire. They're like, that's not what happened there. Coroner Dr. Karen McLaughlin issued a historic ruling, spontaneous human combustion. For the first time in Irish legal history, SHC was listed as an official cause of death. McLaughlin stated, I am left with the conclusion that this fits into the category of spontaneous human combustion for which there is no adequate explanation.
Yeah, sounds about right to me.
Total skeletal loss in minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah. The body, yeah.
can't stop looking at these pictures.
There's something
too.
called, yeah, the pictures behind us are kind of gruesome today. Something called the
This is-
wick effect I want to address real quick, and it has something to do with like how fat like interacts with like your clothes and stuff, and how it
Yeah.
can like pull heat and whatever. Basically that's all about like, and that can happen like on low grade stuff, like, and it's one of those things where you would just notice it, or like it doesn't
Yeah.
happen like this. Basically, you'll hear that occasionally, be like, it was the wick effect. But McLaughlin countered that the body's condition and the lack of surrounding fire damage defied the explanation of that. Wick effect
Yeah.
still really
It's
just
gonna be a
means-
normal
It still
fire.
means there's a normal fucking fire.
This
yeah.
is like this is an abnormal, impossible fire.
This is an impossible.
The way
fire.
it burns things, the way it interacts with its like the surroundings.
Mm.
Like this burn here, okay, this one next to me right here, that's all burnt, so charred, and this isn't burnt.
Yep. It's like the toilet.
The rest of the
fine,
floor
all
didn't
this
just keep burning and
yeah.
start like that. This should all be gone.
Yes. Yeah,
If this
like
happened in one
severely
spot,
damaged. Like it should all be burnt up, right?
it should be everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Same with
houses burn fast.
like-
Like you start at one spot, it's gonna burn quickly.
like
Gonna
this picture.
spread.
There's the pile here, and they're like
Yeah.
digging up, but like everything around it is like
This
fine.
is fine. This is fine up here.
Mhm. That's the picture of old Mary right there.
Yeah. God
Let's talk
bless
about
her.
some early accounts. I have this 15th century account.
Oh, nice. I was gonna wonder like how old does this go?
Polonos Vorsitius was a knight who reportedly returned home and drank several glasses of strong wine with his family. According to the historical account, Vorstius suddenly began to belch fire and burst into flames in front of his parents, dying in the resulting inferno.
Sounds like the other like eyewitness account.
Yeah, heavily intoxicated, but the fire seemed to originate from their body. There's like some accounts of, there's some like traces of being like, okay, they're like full of like alcohol, so I guess that burns up, which like that can make some sense. But you'd have to drink so much. It still doesn't. Hey, man, I drank in a ton of alcohol.
Yeah. No, I've drinking.
I have
drinking a bunch of like grain alcohol.
Yeah.
And smoked cigarettes immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't start on fire.
One of my tattoos is a brand for 195 proof grain, and that's not anything. I don't even like that part of myself, but I'm just saying I never
should've
started on
burned up.
fire.
That's
Yeah,
the
like
thing. Like I should have probably at some point.
because I was like
Well, I was
halfway
passing
full,
out with cigarettes in my hand and shit too. Like
just to
cigarettes in my mouth. I
just
didn't
to
burn
say,
up.
yeah, like come on, there's just
That's just not what it is.
I feel like and like with how like
That's almost more rare than spontaneous combustion, I'd say.
the not burnout.
I think it. Well, like to burn up from alcohol.
no, yeah, that's
I think
don't
it's, like,
that
more
there's,
rare
Like,
than-
there's
yeah.
like no cases of that really.
Yeah.
Like they're all just like maybe they were drinking during these things, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't think this lady was getting fucking way more blasted than I've ever
Right,
been.
and it's like with my spiritual proclivities,
Yeah.
I should my fucking vortexes were all rotating at fantastical levels. I should have been emoliated.
Yeah. Like now I'm pissed.
I'm surprised.
dude,
Like
why
right,
didn't
I'm
this happen
surprised
to me?
right now. I'm not just fucking bursting right now.
Yeah. What the hell's going on?
I got it. Yeah, like now I know where to reach for. Is like when I start belching flames.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um.
I'll get there one day.
Yeah. The fire seemed to originate from the body without any external ignition sources. In 1731, we have the Countess Cornelia Bandi. This is a 62-year-old Italian noblewoman who was found reduced to a pile of ashes in her bedroom. Only her feet, legs, head, and 3 fingers remained intact. According to the article, an article in Gentleman's Magazine, the floor was smeared with the gluey, greasy, yellowish moisture, and the window pane was streaked with the same oily substance. Described as loathsome, with an unusual odor. There's also this like unusual odor that comes from it. It's not like this. It's not like the smell of like a charred body. It's the smell of like it's almost like an alkaline like. But you could like the smell of like like when lightning's about to strike is what I've heard. It's like this weird like.
Or after lightning strikes.
Yeah, there's like some. Yeah, it's this like.
That like static.
Yeah,
weird,
that static smell, right?
Weird.
The scent suggested that the Countess had burned from the inside out while standing. The remaining moisture was identified as rendered human fat, as we talked about earlier.
So it all kind of leans up like the skull, feet, some of the legs.
I still can barely explain the shrunken head thing.
No, that's like one of the weirdest parts too.
That's like
Another part is like, you can say, oh, it was like the wick effect, but it's like, well, is that gonna shrink a head? No.
That seems like a separate curse that was begotten by Mary.
Yeah.
She might have spent some time in like South America or something and like in some deep jungles, I feel like. This seems like
she insulted the wrong person in New Orleans.
yeah.
Or something. Like,
yeah, right. There's like some like voodoo mama juju.
came off, went off too far off like the resort in Jamaica or something.
Yeah, dude, fucking found the real shit.
I don't know, man.
And that's not to exoticize any certain culture. I just think it is like an insane, like extra little thing here. It's like also her head shrunk, and in every case of like your head is supposed to pop.
Yeah.
Your head is supposed to pop.
Definitely not supposed to shrink.
It's not supposed to shrink. Almost no circumstance will do that.
It does it does the opposite of the expected reaction from being burnt.
So the bed was left untouched. This in the Countess's bed. This in 1731, her bed was untouched, as most of the room's furnishings. Right. Very interesting. We have a 1725 case. Jean Millay was accused of murdering his wife, who was found burned to death near the kitchen stove. The surrounding area, a straw bed, and wooden utensils were completely unburned.
Yeah.
And only a portion of her head and a few vertebrae were recovered.
You take a bed of straw and just throw a match on it.
Try to burn a human's entire bone structure, but not the straw next to it.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Millay was accused of the crime and jailed until Dr. Claude Nicolas Lecat testified in court, arguing that the fire had supernatural or divine origins due to the wife's heavy alcohol consumption. Millay was acquitted after the court accepted Lecat's explanation. All right, so this is a classic case of magical rulings just going over. Like,
yeah. It's like, hey, that's a better explanation than anything.
This chick had some sort of divine judgment,
she was cursed for being an alcoholic.
I guess so. That's like kind of this is like prime witch territory also.
Yeah.
This is like prime witch stuff, which I'm not really trying to fold in here too much. We'll do a whole
maybe
witch
she was
series,
a witch.
you know. Yeah, maybe all these people were like warlock level shit. You know, you dig into the wrong. You know, I guess we're reading about all these old people, and it's like, oh, they're probably just some cute little like church going whatever. But it's like, maybe they were just like,
maybe they're pretty sinister,
dealing in abomination on a daily. You know,
maybe they were opening portals with Aleister Crowley.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, some of that stuff even aligns with that, like how he does open, like Aleister Crowley is said to like have opened a portal in the desert, like through this like magical method. I feel like that's just like the act of opening a doorway seems to be some spiritual thing that you can do, like just with like the mechanisms of intense spirituality, right? And it's like you can get there a number of ways, I guess. And it's like it probably depends on that'll probably be like make different portals appear then, right? It's like how you do it. Yeah. So maybe you do just like summon up the pits of hell by accident inside your tummy. Inside your body. It's like that's gonna go way wrong.
You don't want that.
And then like once that like portal burns out your entire like mortal coil and all your like inner spiritual and like physical workings, then it can't like survive in our reality anymore.
Nope.
You know, we talk about like possibly Bigfoot's like coming in from another dimension and like they're just kind of grabbing all the organic material around, and that's why they would smell maybe like a bear, or you find like bear fur where there was clearly like shit. But like, and it's like maybe it was just like collecting those materials, and it's just this sort of fuzzy outline of a thing that just comes into reality. But then once all that material is used up, or like the energy is already gone, it just goes. Okay, a priest in 1789. Lodging with family members, was left alone with his prayer book. Moments later, screaming was heard, and he was found on the floor surrounded by a pale flame. Although the fire was extinguished before complete annihilation, the priest still died. His skin was separated from the flesh of his torso, hanging in shreds.
Shit, what the fuck?
This is like another one of those ones where they like found him, but again, they couldn't save him. But his skin was like shredded off of him while his fucking... his meaty torso was like, I mean, it's like Jesus Christ. But it seems like the top half of him just started peeling back as like the heat, like, and like a pale flame also, some sort of like that seems odd. And he's got the holy book, very interesting there. We talked about Mary Reeser and we talked about John Bentley. We have the okay, just to like point out, there are some cases that seem like obviously like not right. Like there's some cases where there are these people like found in a car that was like completely charred. Like there's some times where it seems like it was like foul play, right? And so I'm not trying to include those ones, basically.
Yeah, those we know what did that. That's mafia ties.
In Grimsby, England, in 1904, a house employer witnessed a young maid sweeping the floor, unaware that her dress was on fire. Flames had engulfed her back, yet she showed no reaction until the employer tackled her and extinguished the fire with wet sacks. The girl was burned but survived. So that's another one where I'm just like, I don't know. That's just like an odd one. She just started. Maybe she just caught it from something. There's probably like a candle sitting around somewhere.
Yeah, or like just a fireplace. Like just draped down, hit it.
So I tried to find a couple different ones. Right, I have one more just little count. A man claimed that his sister-in-law, who was mentally impaired, suddenly complained of a stomachache and began vomiting flames. The fire spread across her body while she remained conscious. Her family doused her in water and managed to extinguish the flames, but she died shortly afterward.
Sounds like that other girl.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It really does. Where are we at here? I guess like so. Those are like my collection of stories. I think like a good like. I think we hit a lot of good breakdowns with it. It does. It really rings to me like something like a spiritually induced thing though. I know sometimes we don't always swing like more like spiritual or magical or you know we'll get more like sciencey.
Dude, anytime science is like this is impossible, we don't know what's going on. I go okay, higher power, some other like magic. We go straight to magic, spirits,
or
demons,
like
energy, like vibrations, like metaphysical.
Science
all the
so
way.
far advanced that it just becomes.
But we don't know it yet.
Yeah,
we don't know what could possibly be doing.
We have this like bioenergy overload.
Or if we do, it's classified.
About.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
that's
walking through walls kind of shit.
And it is funny that kind of because right after the Walking Through Walls episode, I was like, I got something idea on this because I was looking at all these videos of people starting fires and I'm like, where is this coming from? It seems like because we talked about how each of the points in that like military system.
And there's different elements.
Are like different, like, you know, like you start rotating the like the vortex behind your eyes and you start like being able to astral project or like remote view, you know, and we talk like, and like the one behind your throat, you can start like throwing your voice. Yeah. And and it's like, those are all specific paranormal events that we see time and time again. So it was cool to get like this like breakdown of like the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that was like the exact truth, but I think like aligning, like putting that and overlaying it with all these different, basically like every religion that we read about and like having these similarities. It's like, I do think
connecting dots.
Yeah. Like
putting things together. Cause
I think we got to start like training on how to be rotating these things in our bodies, these vortices.
I've been trying. I've been focusing on it since we did the Walking Through Walls. I'm like trying to like kind of like feel it, visualize it, kind of like these like energy centers like activating almost like a not like an engine but almost like some sort of like reactor of some kind.
Yeah, you're like setting it off in stages. I suppose you start with like the base, right, and try to unlock these things, rotate them in the right order.
Like
I guess just be careful because if you start fucking,
I don't want to burn, man.
Yeah, like I think
I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah,
but I also think like so if there's like classified stuff of people walking through walls, I wonder if there's like they were also working on like the like throwing fire kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like fire blast,
just a fire blast. If you can somehow like
wind,
summon up,
water.
We're just gaining air, like
like
avatars,
some avatar stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? I get all their weapons they can get. You know.
Well, yeah, we're talking about how like we are made of water, and water is this kind of is like the weight of a single molecule of water. Something about the momentum and the Planck barrier, which you can break through by these specific energetic movements. It's like, I guess like it depends on which portal you open up. You're summoning up like some water, or you like opening this thing up. It seems very alchemical, where it's like you probably have to trade some sort of energy for that, whether it be the rotating energy to like, you know, to give and take, or if it's like truly pulling from some other environment, you're just opening a portal from. And we're getting pretty far out there now, but I'm just thinking like what would the mechanisms of like magic like look like, you know? It does seem very much like it is this like energetic movement and just like I guess like thoughtfulness to like where you're putting your energy.
Yeah. And like channeling it in the right directions in certain areas. And then if you're doing it like subconsciously, you know, you might just burn up.
You might just go up, especially if you're saying this like kind of probably like it seems like it was mostly old people. We had that one report that
really
night.
Random too.
Yes, and like the different parts. I was looking into like possible like ley lines or like these like geopathetic stressors. These like things that would possibly like intersections, right, of these like anomalous fluxes that could happen. I mean, who knows? You know, some of them seem to be happening over in like Ireland. Like that one seems like there's definitely
England and stuff.
You talk about some like fairy circles and stuff. It's all right there.
Oh yeah.
But we had them from all over the world. And you look at some maps of the ley lines, and it's like there's not a spot that isn't touching them. So
yeah, it's kind of everywhere.
It's kind of everywhere. You just gotta. I don't know.
Be careful out there.
There was this old theory, and that came out in the I believe the 60s. About it was a hypothetical, like atomic thing that like subatomic like. Thing that would be in like your blood called a pyrotron.
I like that.
It's proposed by Larry Arnold, who's the author of Ablaze. It's a book that compiles a bunch of different cases that we kind of went over today. I'm sure it's really great, and like I only like glazed through some of the online portions of it, but I'm sure the book as a whole just has great write-ups of all this stuff. He calls it a mysterious subatomic particle that he dubbed the pyrotron, which may randomly interact with human cells to trigger combustion. He also claimed that these particles are more likely to ignite someone under conditions of high blood alcohol content.
That could be true.
I mean, yeah, the theory is basically unsupported on any peer review research because they just can't find this subatomic thing. But he's just saying, I guess, like, if you want to call it something else, like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's theorizing, like, the existence of this particle. It's like, there must be something like that.
Which I think might just, like, go hand in hand with, like, a plasmic soul type thing where I don't know if it's a specific, you can call the particle whatever you want.
Some immeasurable energy source, power.
It's how light is a wavelength on a particle. I think it'd be something along those lines where you're just carrying these,
and just charged right, gets charged right. Yeah, I don't know.
And then the psychic suicide of it all, where you're just like, I'm done here. The other thing is like, where you're just like, it's the whole like chi or prana of it. It's just that energy, like the energy you're cycling through these chakra points, right? It's just like having some kind of uncontrolled surge due to either like emotional trauma or like a spiritual imbalance or or a spiritual true like balance. Enlightenment. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm open to anything on these. Like these might have been just like ascensions,
accidental release of latent pyrokinetic abilities. You know, someone generating fire with the mind. It is, or like some kind of poltergeist or like spirit thing. If we're talking about, I was mulling the idea of like possibly like a jinn, like in court, like coming into your body, and because jinn are spirits of fire, like made of fire. Instead of like, I believe what we're made of earth is like what we're made from the soil. The gods made us from the clay. Where the jinn, they create these like soulless or whatever, maybe solid things that came before us. Our spirits of like fire and basically pure like plasmic energy. It's like if you're even just interacting with one, or if one like
just appears,
incorporates into you, like almost like a possession, but of like by jinn, and it's just like completely like. It's like maybe like feeds off that, it's like drinking up your energy, and it just disposes of you with just burning out all your chi at once. Yeah, possibly.
Well, I was thinking that like demon possession kind of a thing, because that's like a thing too with like people like exorcisms and stuff. Like they'll like start on fire, or like fires will start somewhere. Like the Bible will start on fire, or like someone will have a cross and it'll start on fire.
Yeah, it's that be that pyrokinetic.
Or if you like hit them with like holy water, they like start burning.
Yeah, dude, that is interesting. It is like
like there's like these connections where I'm like, they might not be related, but they might be.
It is some sort.
It might be just some other form of it,
some sort of fire bending, maybe. Yeah,
something weird.
I don't know. There's like you look at like some goofy anime like My Hero Academia, where it talks about like humans like slowly like seeing these. Mutations in humanity, where it's like, I think in that anime there's like a little bone in the foot that they find, and if they find that when you're a baby, like from X-rays, it's like you're gonna have superpowers when you grow up. It's like obviously that's not like you're not finding that exact thing, but maybe it's like there are signs of like humans like gaining these abilities, and it's just like that they're not gonna show up as like cute little anime type things. You're gonna be restricted from knowing that knowledge until you're like 80, and then you're gonna burn to death. Like it's like
something that's not gonna be like measurable either. You're not gonna be able to like get an X-ray and see. It's gonna be this like thing in your genes.
It's like if you're indoctrinated into like any major religion really that isn't gonna teach you about this kind of stuff, then you're gonna be totally shut off from even trying it out. So
and then after 80 years, it might just be like festering for long enough where it just.
Truly, like
it's a complete like reactor and meltdown.
Yeah, talk about like the human consciousness expanding.
Where they should have been doing like Tai Chi their whole life.
Yes, like learning to move that energy. They could be starting. Yeah, they
control it in like. Yeah.
Really, like I think that's like some kind of latent thing, or just some sort of like I don't know if I want to say like next step in like evolution of things, but it's that you would say we always talk about like trying to reach like a higher consciousness as like a whole as one unit like as like the world. It's like maybe these are some of the signs we're seeing where it's like, okay, this person like there just is some sort of like pyrokinetic ability that humans just can sort of harness, even if it is just complete of like obliteration of self. Like there's something
if you
there
can't control it,
which is super like
maybe that's like the Promethean flame. He gave us like that ability, and that's why like God was mad about it, or Zeus was mad about it. Is like you're not supposed to give these guys fire. They don't know how to
control
it. They're gonna burn
now
up.
it's
They're gonna
coming
burn
back.
themselves and each other.
And if you can control fire, you can probably control any element or any, I think the human body is like perfectly composed of these elements. You have like the plasmic soul, this like fire energy. We're made of this like the clay of the earth.
The water.
We're made of the
got
water.
the
We have
earth.
taken the breath. Like it is, I think
Like
balanced
bones,
correctly.
Bones are like minerals.
Yeah.
All that, yeah.
Like balancing all that correctly, it
Iron
does
in the
seem
blood.
like there's ways to unlock like there's such ancient mechanisms at play here. Some of the first like writings spiritually are like getting these base elements down, and we talk about elementals as like these
understanding,
the earth even being protected by certain like Gaia like forces that are just like controlling this. It's like we're just little like offspring of that, basically, all containing a smaller part of it.
Yeah. All with like different, because everyone has like different ratios too of like their elements, like based off like your like zodiac kind of stuff, astrology. Like some people are more like fire, some people more earth, some are more water, some are more air, wind.
I'm very water heavy.
Yeah, dude.
Water glory all the way.
I'm very I got a good mix, but I'm like I got a lot of earth and fire.
That's sick. Yeah, I think I'm mostly water than fire, and I don't have like any air in most of my classic symbols. Then it all kind of ties in together, right? Like it's just we talk about like alchemy and how then we had this culmination of science and spirituality into one practice, right? And then when religious offices and like the crown and world leaders from the like 13th century onward, and even before that, they start basically denying and blocking out the use of alchemy, and it segments it into this: here's science, here's religion. They are separate, and it's like if we could hone in on it as one,
So
greater
one's
mystery.
not like looking down on the other.
Yeah.
They all like see each other as like a different thing. Like, oh, they're missing the point.
It's like
They're missing the point. But it's like if you don't like come together and like put these ideas together, we're all missing the point. We're all just missing out on what our true potential could be.
Government does the same thing with any like black ops situation, black book situation, where they'll have all these offices working on just very compartmentalized parts of this bigger thing, and none of them know what they're doing. They're very good at their one thing, but they actually like put them in a room with the entirety of their object, and they have no idea. And that's the same thing with the splitting of science and religion and alchemy back in the 1300s, and it's just we lost all that, and we lost the master to apprentice bond of you need to be in the room to see the magic. You can't just read it. Like
and you have to like do this day in and day out, these little things, these little rituals,
there are some
little acts.
There's so much that just speaking it or just like speaking it and writing it down can't give you the
language doesn't have it enough. Like our language is very like dull compared to like what we can actually communicate with like actions and like these certain rituals and stuff. These like vibes
when dealing in like 4D, like 5D, like manipulation and ideas like this. Really, like 3D, two-dimensional words that we use just cannot label. Like when you
anything in the
something,
extra dimensional, it just does not make sense.
When you label something, it loses so much of its power because you're just giving it this one meaning, and I feel like you just lose that. Like we've just lost so much.
That's why like the Chani project, it says like you got to do hieroglyphics like Sumerians, like the Egyptians, because like this language is not gonna make any sense, and it's like the way it talks is like very like almost seems like dumbed down, but it's like the only way you can really like explain these complex ideas is like at being as vague as possible, and you just hope the reader can like put it together.
Yeah, because
if you don't, you're like completely misled. Yeah,
our words are so specialized, like the spells of them. The kind of like it's a spell to literally put you in this like prison of thought. It's like that's why they say like when you learn more like different languages, you learn to like you just literally see the world differently because you're totally taking in more of the human like of the vaster human knowledge of this thing, and it's like I think once you.
Because there's words and phrases and stuff in other languages that we just don't have words for, and we have words that they just don't have words like they don't translate over. You have to do your best you can, but it's not the full concept or idea.
Kugelblitz.
Yeah,
it's like ball lightning, but it's like sort of more spectacular and like spiritual.
Yeah, it means more. Yeah,
it's this. Yeah, it's essentially like a djinn coming through. And
the thing, there's like Japanese like sayings and phrases that just like roughly translate into things, but it's like not. Like they have the feeling of like that, like it's like a word for like this is just an example. I don't know if this is real or not, but it's like they'll have like a word for like the feeling of like nostalgia you get on like a rainy morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can explain that, but it's like there's a way to like pinpoint it, you know, like nail it down. You know what I mean?
Right. And even so, I think it's like, I don't know if it'd be better to learn, like, try to learn as many languages as possible, or to try to not know any. Like, you know,
exactly.
I think if you
That's
can
like
just
what
get
it is.
completely blind to it,
Yeah.
and then you're going to become just like a straight up druid animal.
Yeah, you become
Just
like
reading symbols, right?
a complete hermit.
But there is something about that, you know, that the words can block you into these ideas, and you really have to fight against your inner nature to unlock like the true ideas of things and the real word. You know, it's like how
See
you
the multiple meanings in
once you
certain
learn
words
the true name of things, you can control it. So we're given these fake names for everything. We're no longer able to control it. It's not fire. It's something far more ancient.
And like that's why like reading like the energy of like how something's said. That's why like texting is really hard to communicate things, because you're not getting the full like energy and vibration from like the person's voice or like their facial expressions to like convey the full meaning of what they're saying. Because you can like say words, but like if you say it in a certain way, it means something different. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways to like put inflections on things and like transfer that energy and that vibration, and then being able to like tune into that and understand like this person's saying this one thing, which on paper is like doesn't make sense, but the way they're saying it, I'm like, you can like decode it almost, you know, read between the lines kind of thing. Like, I don't know.
I mean, then that same thing goes for like using these methods. Like in one way, you're gonna like advance your chi and like spin it the right way and fucking start levitating, and you do it wrong, and you're gonna self-immolate. I think.
Yeah, your bones will be gone.
There's probably just a middle ground where you're just calmly meditating too, and I think you know, that's probably fine too. I don't know, Doss. This has been a really like just nice chat about stuff. I think these comfortable chairs are helping a lot.
I feel like I can do this a lot longer.
Yeah, Dawson's been
usually after an hour, I'm like really moving around.
Dawson's been just balancing on like a pit, like the head of a pin
my back starts hurting a
so.
little bit. Hurts my tailbone. This has been
good.
I got
the
cat.
Yeah,
I'm cozy.
Yep. Life at the beach with these burnt up bodies behind.
Yeah.
I think this is an excellent stopping point. I really do like what we covered here today. I loved how just, you know, I love just talking.
There's always we can always come back.
Yeah,
find some more on this stuff. We'll find more.
We're digging deeper into that plasmic soul research as we do here.
Man.
You know, I think we mentioned just about every topic we like here today too.
We referenced on everything
because it's
you really got to like be able to like watching the show to like understand a lot of the references.
But we try to bring it around enough to make it sense. But it is.
But
we do have some theories that go beyond just specific episodes that we touch on a lot, and it's fun to kind of uncover them more and see where they all connect. It's always like the intersection of paranormal ideas where it's all just one greater idea, and where that ends. I really hate to say that it's just all one thing, but it is like, it does seem like they all kind of connect to something at least. So
there's references. It's all
With that being said, just try your hardest to not like burn up, I guess.
Yeah, please don't spontaneously combust.
Let's all try to rotate our vortices in the correct fashion.
Try to express that hot energy before it turns into an unstoppable flame.
Plenty of healthy ways to express the prana. There's some I believe if you like do this thing where you cover up your right nostril and breathe in, and then you cover up your left nostril and breathe out. There's some like while meditating, that's like a way to like expel heat energy safely. I know, like spirit.
I think like lion's breath, like that kind of stuff. Dragon's breath.
Breath.
Calling it that.
Dragon's breath.
Sure, just like screaming and exercising is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you see any houseless people out there just screaming and dancing,
they're just trying not to burn up.
They're just trying not to burn up. They're probably
got a lot of fire in them.
If you see them moving strangely, they're probably just trying to walk through walls and break through the 3D space.
I about guarantee most of those people have a lot of fire signs in their chart.
Yeah. You know how many of them just like broke through to the 5th dimension by moving erratically and saw the face.
So they're yelling at these
these
jinn that are surrounding them that we can't see.
Quote unquote schizophrenic. Yeah. They're just seeing the plasmic souls all around us. All right, well, there's more from this every week, basically. Pumpkin Hill Radio, don't stop. Every Tuesday you can hear more. You can hear more paranormal news, Chaos Control. That's a weekly news thing I do. You can hear more strange theories and be with Dawson as he researches on Dawson's Diaries. That's a weekly show as well we do right here on the main feed. You'll see them all named different things. It shouldn't be too confusing as you throw through. We always name the actual Pumpkin Hill Radio episode just episode whatever and colon and then the name of it. You know, the other ones kind of say Chaos Control or Dawson's Diaries is how you can
like a number. Sometimes I'll put a name on it. Whatever.
Check
it out.
Check it out. Just so that, and if you got through our whole backlog, we're coming up on almost 100 episodes here. If you got through our whole backlog, or if you just want more content, patreon.com/Pumpkin Hill Radio. monthly bonus episodes, weekly bonus episodes, some giveaways. We do, just better ways to connect with us, connect with your community here. You're already in the Cult of the Star Mother. You might as well join further. It is free just to get in. You get your name on the list. You get yourself a shout out at the top of the next applicable episode, and we will say your name. Maybe I'll make a little rhyme out of it.
Yeah.
Did that once.
Great.
Go ahead and rate view us.
Yeah.
Rate view us wherever you can. It really helps. 5 stars really help on Apple Podcasts. You can leave little comments too. That really helps too. Tell Dawson you love him.
Yeah, I love you.
Send us your stories of self-immolation, pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. If you have any connections we didn't make, or if you want to send us some stories
of your own.
Yep, pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. You can follow all our socials and follow everything we do. Submit anything you want. Just go to pumpkinhillradio.com. You can find everything through there. It's very simple, very streamlined. Just go through, follow us everywhere. We post daily clips. Every day around 11 or 1 p.m. We'll get you with the about a 1 to 3 minute clip of something that happens on the show, so you can stay up to date.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it. We're gonna 1 second. We're gonna take the burnt bodies out of the background.
Nice.
So we can end us at the beach again.
Yeah, that's
Lovely.
Right,
Me and Dawson are gonna sit back, have some pina coladas,
Yeah.
let the birds, circle above us as we are dying.
Yeah, yeah.
They are. It does seem like they are the vultures. I don't know. They're not
Yeah.
the usual seabirds, but
Sea
we'll see.
vultures.
Dawson, thank you for holding Marceline the whole time. This cat is in a talk about heat. Talk about
freaking
heat.
out.
She's
about to burn up.
Yeah, this chick is wiling out. Come to the video just to see Marceline. It's a very cute thing over here. Yeah, anything to say, Marcy?
Anything to say?
Pretty quiet right now. Usually she's yelling for hours on end.
Yeah, I've been holding her tight, so that helps.
Thank you. And no hiccuping this episode, Dawson.
No hiccups this time. Nice.
Nice. You're back. Got him back. But that was a full week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Full
This has been
week
Pumpkin Hill
ahead.
Radio. Hope you enjoy the summer coming up. Hope you enjoy your beach day. We got a lot of great episodes coming up. Expect a Bigfoot episode soon. And a lot of other stuff. Every time we do one episode, we got 2 more in the bank.
We're on the road to 100.
Road to 100 coming up. If you would like to submit a closeout phrase for me to say, I do want to just a quick teaser. One of the big things about episode 100 is that I will be locking in a closeout phrase forevermore. Dawson usually says something like, I love you at the end. I really just fumble. I got my hello, my night owl friends at the beginning, and I feel like that's very stable at this point.
Yeah.
And I just
Pretty
want
locked
something.
in.
Yeah, so whatever comes to mind, unless you all send something for me to say, that's going to be locked in for every episode afterward, okay? I might start trying some on now on the road to 100, and then expect a really fun episode, a series of episodes around there. We're going to try to do something big, something for the fans. So submit your stuff. If you want to be featured in some way, let us know, and we'd love to get there. The road to 100 continues. Till then, this has been Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm Dawson. Wait.
I'm Travis.
And that's Marceline.
This is Marceline.
And that's close enough.
I love you guys. Bye.